Ladies and gentlemen, I've really enjoyed playing for Angela's pre-celebration music. It's been an actual honor to do that for her. I'm acquainted with Angela as 27 years ago she called me up to do some accompaniment tracks for her shows. And I've really enjoyed, I had so much fun. It was absolutely, I've never had more fun in a recording studio. Angela has, I've gotten to know her as wearing many hats. She is a producer, she is a mom, she is a director, she is a wife, or was a wife to Roddy. She is a performer, and she's also a Mimi, and she's an entrepreneur. She lived the great American dream. She found something that she loved to do, and she was good at it, and she figured out a way to monetize it. And so that's it's very inspirational to other small business owners. Regardless of what side of the political aisle you stand on, you see this is a beautiful thing that she's done with her life. She was an artist, a phenomenal artist, and she always found a way to find the fun in any situation. And so we're going to have some fun this afternoon. Thank you very much.
Thank you, David. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Asbury Memorial. We're mighty glad you're here to help us celebrate the life, the creativity, the imagination, the joy, and the hard work of Angela Beasley. After our service, everyone's invited to go to the social hall, which is in that direction, for refreshments and to continue to celebrate Angela's life. Also, the restrooms are in that direction right across from the social hall, and a water fountain. Let me remind you, if you will, to double check to make sure your cell phones are off. I'm going to check mine right here. Again, thank you for being with us today. Would you bow with me in prayer? Loving God, you heal the broken in heart, and to those who have no might, you increase their strength. You comfort the tired and the weary. And so today, strengthen us in our weakness, calm our troubled spirits, dispel our doubts and fears. We gather together to thank you for Angela Beasley, for the gift of her life, for the treasure that she was, and for the treasure she continues to be in our memories and in your eternal heart. And so bless this time together as we celebrate this great life and as we look forward to our glad reunion with Angela in eternity. Amen. Evan, I think you're starting us off. Where are you? There you are. Come on up. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. I'm Jessica Walker. This is my little brother, Evan Walker. We're Jeff Walker's kids, and we grew up with Angela Beasley. She was one of my dad's closest friends, and he is in Mexico right now, so he's sad to have missed this, but he wanted to write a eulogy on her behalf and a couple of words on his behalf, so Evan's going to take over and read that for y'all.
I haven't proofread this, so if there's any profanity, I apologize. When I first started my video production business, Angela was my very first client. Students throughout the Chatham County school system were sitting cross-legged on floors, mesmerized by Google-eyed furry monsters, life-size pirate puppets, and dancing jukeboxes. I followed her and her troupe of puppeteers from gig to gig, shooting footage for promo videos from the dozens of skits and productions that Angela created almost constantly. As crazy as those shows were, that paled in comparison to the behind-the-scenes madness that went on before, during, and after. Angela's chaos was controlled by only Angela. She was kind of photosynthetic in this regard, meaning she didn't feed on chaos, she created chaos, and fed on the creativity it inspired. I've never been around so many creative artists at one time, from worship leaders to wizards. There were actors, musicians, writers. Ideas bounce off of those studio walls like ping pong balls in a lottery machine. Once I was trying to convince Angela that we should produce an old school Sonny and Cher type variety show that strung together her best bits. She called together the best and brightest for additional input. Right away, I was hit with opinions and ardent suggestions and even more from the rest of the group when Angela's arms got tired from talking. I decided then that the best idea for a show would be a reality show, to just document this artistic energy, this visionary expression, and this nonstop, unadulterated, batshit craziness because it would be because it couldn't be corralled, but was awfully fun to watch. That was Angela. She was always all in. You didn't have a cursory relationship with her. After about 10 minutes of knowing you or less, she was all up in your business. She wanted to know about your family history, your dreams and aspirations, and your views on whatever completely random topic she'd most recently become obsessed with. Thankfully, she stayed all up in my business for 36 years. My daughter would spend hours at a time in that studio, spellbound by the puppets and color and music and fun that everyone associated with Angela. My son Evan was literally the right hand of Ray Charles when we auditioned for America's Got Talent in front of 3,000 people. My children and grandchildren were in commercials, skits, and promos, and like Angela's own children, and many of you here, often against their will. I've made dozens of friends through Angela, some of whom might even admit to it. I've shot hundreds of hours of video, written songs and skits, all thanks to Angela Beasley. I saw her eyes light up whenever her beautiful granddaughter Olivia was with her. I saw them dimmed for the first time after losing the love of her life. I've watched countless faces of people from diaper-wearing years to, well, diaper-wearing years, as their faces light up with joy from her performances, personality, and attention that she graciously bestowed upon them all. It was particularly special to be considered special by someone as special as Angela.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, the button on the mic. Ah, I didn't know I had to turn it on. There we go. It's great to see so many familiar faces that I have not seen in a long time. And I see Angela everywhere, so that's really great too. One of the many stories that I have heard about Angela is how incredibly sad she was when her husband Roddy passed away. And I remember thinking, what a story they must have had together. What a great love that must have been. And so when I was choosing what to sing, I thought of this, and Angela and Roddy, this is for you. I'd rather be blue thinking of you. I'd rather be blue over you than be happy with somebody else. I'm crazy about you, without you. For you, I'm strong, I can't do without ya. Ouch, McGoucha, don't be too long. I want a little oh, little ooh, little oh, and I'm walking on wood. Honey, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, it's so hard to be good. I'd rather be blue, thinking of you. I'd rather be blue over you than be happy with somebody else. Will I be good? Will I be bad? Don't be a fool, you fool. My little flat, I'm turning that into a Sunday school. While you're away, I'm here to say there'll be no Iceman there. Singing the blues, I'm gonna use nothing but Frigidaire. I'd rather be blue, thinking of you. I'd rather be blue over you than be happy with somebody else. Blue over you. I'd rather be blue over you than be happy with somebody else.
George, are you here? Is George up? Are you next, George? I think so. Thank you. Is it George? Okay.
My name is George, and I'm an Angelaholic. Bruce and I want to extend our heartfelt condolences to Jeffrey, Allison, Olivia, Brad, and all of Angela's wonderful family and friends. It was a scorching hot summer day in old Savannah. When I decided to cool off and take the tour of homes in 1979 or 1978, I can't remember, one of the featured houses on tour was particularly beautiful. I listened as the docent assigned to the living room described its furnishings and style. I became enthralled with the extraordinary plasterwork on the ceiling. So I raised my hand and I asked the docent, "What can you tell us about that incredible plasterwork on the ceiling?" She took a few moments to look up and study the entire ceiling. As she gazed at it and pondered my question, I waited for her detailed description. She looked me straight in the eye and replied, "Nice." Real nice. That was my first introduction to the great and funny Angela Beasley. Since that time, we grew very close and would experience much together throughout a 40-year friendship. Angela loved to laugh. We found humor in just about everything. She was beyond hilarious, and I know she's laughing at the absurdity of all of this now. Here are just a few of my many adventures with Angela that I'd like to share with you. In 1997, I brought my celebrity comedian friend, Charles Nelson Riley, to Savannah for an event and also for a lecture at SCAD. Angela and Allison greeted and welcomed him at the airport with their Formica dinette puppet person. Charles remarked that he was super impressed and delighted, and it was the first time being upstaged by a puppet. What fun that was. In 2004, I arranged a trip to New York City for Angela to appear on the CBS Early Show with Bryant Gumbel when I was the art director there. I had bragged to Bryant about her genius and incredible life-size puppets. He said, "Bring her on, Georgie." When Angela heard the news, she agonized over which puppet to bring. She finally chose Ruby Pearl, the waitress puppet person. But I asked if Ruby could come as an out-of-towner tourist instead. Of course, Angela obliged and changed Ruby's apron and cap to a tacky jumpsuit and foam Statue of Liberty crown. When she was live on air that morning as Ruby, she pulled out a huge map, unfolded it, and said to Bryant, "I'm from out of town. Could you help me with directions?" "Directions where, dear? The Met? Radio City? Lincoln Center? Carnegie Hall?" "No, the ladies' room," she replied, crossing her legs and dancing around. Angela's ad-libs were priceless. She was a hit at CBS, and I cherish that memory. Angela introduced me to the New York Puppet Festival one year. I was mesmerized by the brilliance of those puppeteers, especially the marionette performances, which were not to be believed. Angela reminisced that she had met the legendary Jim Henson during her early years in puppetry and that he had introduced her to the festival. She and I attended the hit Broadway show Avenue Q on one of her trips to New York City. Angela snuck one of her puppets into the theater in a duffel bag. After the show, we went backstage. Angela pulled out the puppet, put it on, and launched into a character that rivaled any of those we had just seen. To the delight of the Broadway cast, they screamed with laughter. She had nerve, and she was fearless. Angela had a deep and spiritual side and reserved that part of herself for only a chosen few. We talked about death many times as we both dealt with the big C. Angela feared suffering, not dying. She was courageous in the face of illness and believed there is so much more thereafter, as she put it, after our expiration date here. She truly believed this life is a dress rehearsal and the best is only yet to come. We're all so thankful she didn't have to suffer. When my partner Bruce and I decided to retire to Savannah 4 years ago, Angela opened her home to us while our house was being worked on. We ended up living with her for 3 months. It was heartbreaking to have to leave. Bruce and I became attached to her little Chihuahua Poncho. Who would only bite me, never Bruce. I'd tease him maliciously, so maybe that was it. She lovingly referred to Poncho as my baby. And we grieve for him too. We are forever grateful to Angela for all of her gracious hospitality and kindness. The past 4 years were very special to us, spending lots of time with Angela. We'd often drop in, even on nights with next to nothing in the fridge. Angela would conjure up the most delicious and plentiful meals. She was our friend and second mama. We were her boys. We took many trips together to her beloved and beautiful Beaufort property on the water, where she was most quiet and relaxed. In our honest opinion, she was happier there than anywhere else. Charles Nelson Riley would always do his funny napkin curtain line bit when he entertained friends at Sardi's. Someone would inevitably say something during the meal that prompted Charles to pick up his dinner napkin, fold it, hold it just above his forehead, repeat the line, and drop the napkin over his face like a stage curtain at the end of an act. So as the final curtain falls on the life I knew with dear Angela, I'll close with my own curtain line. Let me describe my special friendship with a beautiful lady named Angela Beasley in just 3 words. Nice. Real nice.
I love puppets. If you say that in Savannah, Georgia, someone will say, well, you need to go and see Angela Beasley.
The whole thing needs to be something that you haven't seen, you haven't imagined, and you can't go anywhere else to see it. So that gives you one of those magical moments, and it will last forever.
You never charge enough, and then you end up giving it away. Wait, I'm doing what the market will be.
Jeffrey will tell you, oh, my mom's a genius, but man, I've been trying to get her to sell these buildings and get out of this business. But my mom's a genius, but man, she's working too hard. I don't want to see her doing this the rest of her life. I'm like, why not? I'm having a good time. Will you please get Jeff in the Cajun guy?
She's a creative genius. She can sculpt, she can paint, she can make clothes, she can build all these amazing puppets, but she's just too scattered. She does have, I don't think she's ever been diagnosed, but I'm pretty sure she's got attention deficit.
Excuse me, my pocket's ringing. Oh, hell. You're making the puppet's hands black.
Yeah, it's not about your childhood, Mom. You've got to get over this worthiness.
I just find it very difficult, really difficult sometimes to deal with a family business. And she thinks faster than anybody else.
Horrible things that happen to little children who inhale balloon pieces. And all of a sudden, boom, it won't come out. She does need earrings because I've got the monkey. Wait for it.
I mean, it's colorful, emotional sometimes.
You're talking to me like I'm stupid.
Fun.
Big wave.
Very unique.
everything is surreal because everybody has all these characters, and at the same time, everybody is such a character, you can't tell the difference.
It's all about showing off with a hood over your head and saying anything you want, and nobody knows who it is, and you can't even believe how much fun you're having.
There is more that happens here than jobs. There's more that happens here than crafts or creation. There's something magic here.
This moment, this minute, and each second in it will leave a glow across the sky. And as time goes by, it will never die. This will be my shining hour, calm and happy and bright. In my dreams, your face will shower through the darkness of the night. Like the light of home before me, oh, an angel watching o'er me. This will be my shining hour till I'm with you again. This will be my shining hour, calm, happy, bright. In my dreams, your face will flower through the darkness of the night, like a light of a home before me, or an angel still watching o'er me. This will be her shining hour till we're with her again.
We're going to make this a little easier here for you. You bet.
What a backdrop to have here. I can tell you, I go back with Angela about as far as you could go. She would call me up at my office and she would say, "Jane, I'm coming over." And she'd come over and we'd start talking about where she could go. Yes, she could make puppets. Yes, she could make them small, she could make them little, she could make them very, very large. and she was deciding whether she could go to a major convention, and could she charge, and would people pay to come see puppets? And I talk her into it, and I say, yes, that's what you could do. And how much can I charge? Well, what can you do? When she would talk about the charge, and can I really charge that much? Can I really get it above it? Yes, she could. She could do it all. She could really do it all. And I tell you that Angela is somebody that you believe in. And you believe in her because she believed in her. And I think that was really the greatest thing that she would do in my office. And she would come often, and I would sit there and talk her into the things that she could do. At which office? My office downtown. Angela is saying a lot of different things. I would work with Angela for things that are long ago. She believed in herself, and she believed in me, and I would be the person that she would go to, and I did it because I loved her, and I believed in her, and she had us, my 3 children. I really believed in the magic that Angela brought to her studio, and she did the puppet show, and they made puppets, and she put on the show for them, just 3 of them, and they were very funny, and very how do you say, joie de vivre. She had it. She had it. Those wonderful thing, and I really believed in her, in Angela. It was the kind of thing that I would mentor her, and this kind of a love of person. You believed in her and believed in what she wanted for her children and all of you for Angela. And I really think that she had magic to her. She had it in my office, she had it in her studio, she had it with each of these creations that she made. And I really believed in her. When you called me up to say, well, try and tell who I am, and I didn't have to show her who I am and what I did. I worked for the community, and she did too, and she believed in it. And I really think that Angela has left a bit of herself with each one of these people that is true to her, and I believe in her, and I believe in her magic today, and we're still going on, and so I believe in her, and I miss her already. I really do. It's a hard thing to say, but Angela, you are loved, you are appreciated, and you are really an outstanding person as a wit, as a clever individual, and I wish you were here today so that I could hug you as tight as I could, each and every one of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was wonderful.
Perfect, Jane. Thank you. Thank you to those of you who have decorated the sanctuary so beautifully. It reminds me a lot of the service we had many years ago for Mickey Lines, who I'm pretty sure was a real close friend of Angela's. The first thing the Bible tells us about God is that God is a creator, an artist. And that ancient story in Genesis tells us that we are made in the image of God, that we too are creators and artists, that we have been built with the creative spirit inside of us. And some people are really good at tapping into that spirit. Angela, of course, was one of them. And we give thanks for the many ways she blessed so many people through tapping into that spirit. My wife Sherry and I moved to Thunderbolt in 1993 while I was pastoring this church and Wesley Oak Church, which is on Victory Drive and Mechanics Avenue. And our parsonage, our house where we brought up our 4 young'uns, was right behind the church. And while we were there, Angela and her puppet factory moved into our backyard. Her office was literally right beside our master bedroom. So Angela has been part of our lives for a long time. She was willing to help if we needed something at the church. I remember Allison coming here to do an act or two with puppets for some fundraisers. And after I left Wesley Oak to come here full time, their next minister, Reverend Lynn Drake, told me that Angela was always supportive of her and the work they did at Wesley Oak. And so we really appreciate the support Angela gave both churches. But I hadn't seen her in a long, long time. Every October, we do something here called God on Broadway. Every Sunday, we weave elements of a Broadway musical into the worship service. A different musical is used each Sunday in October, so it's a very busy time of year. And we've been doing it for about 20 years now. And in 2014, one of the musicals we used was The Lion King. And since the Broadway show uses incredible puppets for animals, we thought it would be cool if at the beginning of the service a large bird puppet would enter the sanctuary and fly all around. And so we checked with Angela, and sure enough, she had this beautiful puppet of a big white bird, and its large wings could flap, and she loaned it to us. And one of our members, who was a great liturgical dancer, worked the puppet and entered the sanctuary with the bird and with a drummer alongside of him, a fellow playing a djembe. And the flying bird and the drummer went all around the sanctuary to start the service, and it was magnificent. And so we decided to do The Lion King again this past October. It had been 9 years, and it was one of our favorite services. So I was hoping we could get the great bird again. But again, I had not seen Angela in many years, and I knew she had retired. I didn't know what she had done with the puppets. And I decided that it might be too much to ask of her, so I didn't reach out and contact her. We had a lot of other things that would help the service. The Gretchen Green dancers would be here to do their incredible stuff, and they were unbelievable. My baby grandson was coming down from New York City that weekend, and he would be baby Simba. So we knew it was going to be a great service. We had a lot of things going for it, but I was still wishing for that bird. We did have the drummer on the djembe. We had someone blow the shofar, and it was a great, great service. After it was over, everyone was filing out of the sanctuary, all pumped up, and I was in the courtyard trying to greet as many people as I could. I extended my hand to the next person in line and looked up. It was Angela. Angela was here. Angela and Allison for The Lion King. And I couldn't believe it. I said, "You don't know how much you've been on my mind recently." And I reminded her about the bird. She had forgotten all about it. She didn't realize the connection she had with the Lion King service. And it was like this holy coincidence that she was there that Sunday after all these years. What was even better was that she kept coming. Even after the God on Broadway services were over. I always make an announcement in the service that if there is anyone visiting who plans to be coming back, I would love to order them a name tag. Just print your name on the name tag board, and we'll get you an official Asbury name tag. Well, about a month ago, I'm walking by the name tag board, and I see Angela's name written on it. She had signed up for a name tag. And I picked it up maybe about a week before I got the news about her death. And I was so sorry that we didn't get to spend more time together. But I was also so glad that the last 4 months of her life, she experienced a faith community that celebrates God's love, acceptance, and creativity. Whenever we lose someone we love, I always like to quote Teilhard de Chardin, that great Frenchman who was a scientist and a great theologian. He said, "We are not human beings searching for a spiritual experience. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. Our essence is eternal. Our essence is spirit." So we celebrate Angela's living spirit, and we celebrate what she did while she walked on this planet, and we celebrate that we will be with her again. Why are there so many songs about rainbows and what's on the other side? Rainbows are visions, just only illusions, and rainbows have nothing to hide. So we've been told, and some choose to believe it. I know they're wrong. Wait and see. Angela's found it. The rainbow connection. The lovers, the dreamers, and me. God bless you, Angela Beasley. As we continue to celebrate her life and her creativity, let us stand as you are able to sing hymn number 145, Morning Has Broken. It's in your blue hymnal, number 145.
away from me. Go on, go on.
Hi, y'all. Welcome to Puppet People. I'm Angela. Come on in. Oh, we're really glad you came. I want to introduce you to some of the characters around here. This is Betty.
Okay, bye-bye. So, what can I do you for?
Betty, these fellas want to know a little bit about the Puppet People.
Oh, well, you know, I'm so glad you're here at Puppet People. We do all kinds of shows for adults and children. In fact, I specialize in doing adult roasts. Yeah, and in addition to being a secretary here, honey, I'm also a cyber pinup model. Isn't that fabulous? Oh, gosh, I love being a puppet. Yeah, so come on in, everybody. We're gonna have a wild time. Yeah.
We're here at the Puppet People Studio in Thunderbolt, Georgia. We're like a mini version of producing an opera. So we don't hire the actors, we have to build the actors.
I never realized how many different types of foam rubber there are.
As the audiences grew, the interest in puppetry grew, our puppets really needed to be larger. And so we were able to study with different puppet makers to learn different techniques to make larger puppets.
Honey, my name is Miss Formica Dinette Washington. That's right, honey, I was conceived in the kitchen. The pots were rattling, the dishes were clanking, and the oven was on.
On this wall, these are our people-sized puppets, and we costume them for any theme party or event. So we are constantly recostuming them. This is Tony Valoni, and Tony's like, that's Tony Valoni with a V. Not to be confused with a similar sounding luncheon meat, if you get my drift. And this is Vivian Vondermeer. And she's so very proper, you know. And this, of course, is Ruby Pearl, and Ruby Pearl's favorite person in the whole world is Elvis.
Go figure.
This is Woody Stockton. He was named after the last party he could remember. He says, dude, he said, you know, remember Woodstock? And he said, remember the strobe?
Have another cookie.
We have so much fun at any kind of special event, especially icebreakers, you know, where the first event of the convention really needs to be the best one that jumps off, you know, and everybody gets excited. That's what we specialize in. Of course, you know, any kind of, oh, what's that?
I definitely wouldn't go in there quite yet. Just came through that portal, and it was a rough landing. Come on, fellas, we gotta rock on.
Oh, you know, no telling who might be coming through the portal potty. You never know.
I've been working here, well, off and on my whole life, since I'm born, and my mother started the company the year I was born. You develop the characters, the way we did it is just by working, where you get out and you work. You put on a puppet, you go, you do a job. You're constantly bumping into all different types of people, and they will talk to you. And it's funny, that's the funnest part for me, is to get them to talk to a puppet. You know, because when you have the black hood on and you're behind the puppet, a lot of times they look at your face, but you make sure they, you know, that they're looking at the puppet. And once you get them talking to the puppet, then you got them, and then you start having some fun because you're in their head. The fact that we walk up to you life-size, that's an entertainment value in itself. The fact that I can talk to you as if you're talking to them.
You are that puppet, you step into that world, and you see the reactions of the people, and their faces just click on something magic in you. So it's really very special, because we know that that person's going to go home and maybe try to describe the encounter that they just had in the mall, or at work, or wherever they were when they saw one of these puppets, and they're going to have a little bit of trouble, but they'll never forget it.
Good afternoon. I drove, or was driven in, a white panel van for a little over a decade to every town, city, village, hamlet, alternate living community, and Bureau of Georgia. Also South Carolina, Virginia, Florida, North Carolina, Texas, and New York. Angela's belief was that if a place had more than 2 people and a power outlet for the sound, they needed puppets. And the one time we arrived at a gig and there was no power outlet for the sound because we were in a field, we did the show anyway. I have thought over the last couple of weeks about the lessons that Angela taught us, because I think that we all remember such a big personality that we forgot that sometimes there was a very bright, vibrant, and faithful soul underneath all of that talent and creativity. And there was a lesson that Angela taught me, this is a long time ago, that I didn't realize the value of until this week. We performed at every school in Savannah, including some I am pretty sure she built just before we got there. And we performed at every retirement community in Savannah. And we usually did the same show in the course of a year. We would do the same show at the schools and the same show at the retirement communities. And that wasn't because there was a lack of content, because at any given moment there were 9 shows on the original iPod model with the scroll wheel that controlled all of our playback and helped us with our microphones and our amplification. But we did the same show because Angela, in a lot of ways, believed that people on both ends of the spectrum, people that were just coming into this world and experiencing it for the first time, and people who had been on this earth for a long time, both needed the same thing. They needed some of the wonder that all of this provided. And when I realized that it wasn't about trying to do the same show 2 different ways. It was about trying to get the same show right. And Angela, one time when I was for a long time, I was Indigo's assistant. And the absolutely extraordinary Gary Swindell sang a Georgia on my mind that I'm pretty sure everyone in here has heard. And that was in most shows that we did. And it was funny that we were watching this video just before it came up, because if you saw Angela standing in front of the wall of puppets, she had this way of describing them. She would say, "This is so-and-so, and they do this. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da," full voice, full, like all the lines you were supposed to know. And the first day that I was being trained, she took me to the wall, and there were 22 puppets or so on the wall. And she said, "This is how this one goes and this one," and she did all 22, and I had just met her. And then she turned to me and she said, "Do you have any questions?" And I said, "Yes. And also, can you do that whole thing again?" But when we were doing Indigo, she only gave me one very specific piece of information. She said, if you're at a senior center and you are performing Indigo, even if you don't have enough time, if the song runs out, before you go back behind that screen, see if you can make sure that Indigo locks eyes with every single person in that room. Because every single one of those souls matters. And there was a show, I honestly can't remember where it was. There was a show where we usually had about 50 to 75 seniors, and for whatever reason, we had 300. And I said, "Angela," she said, yeah, you better do it. Yeah. So Indigo finished his song and walked the auditorium for about another 5 minutes. And the last person that Indigo saw stood up from her chair and wrapped her arms around him and said, "Thank you for coming to see me. So thank you all for coming to see Angela. Now, our brother and friend, Christopher Susi, is not able to be with us until a little later. He's asked me to share these words at the conclusion of mine. This poem is titled, More Than a Dreamer. People called her a dreamer all her life through. She was much more than that. She made dreams come true. She stitched together laughter and sewed together joy. She wove a fabric of wonder and cherished all in her employ. She took in other dreamers. She gave a home to a rowdy lot. She blazed a path for us to follow and helped us find the dreams we sought. She was an incomparable artist. She proved magic was real. She was a teller of tales, and every heart she did steal. She was a force of nature. She was an inspiration to all. She never backed down from a challenge. She always answered the muse's call. She will always be more than a dreamer. She will always be a light shining in my heart. That zany lady with the puppets, showing me that a dream can be a work of art. We are poorer for having lost her, but we are so much richer for having known her. Thank you.
Thank you for being a friend. Travel down the road and back again. Your heart is true, you're a pal and a confidant. I'm not ashamed to say, I hope it always will stay this way. My hat is off, won't you stand up and take a bow? And if you threw a party, invited everyone you knew, well, you would see the biggest gift would be for me, and the card attached would say, thank you for being a friend. 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 If it's a car you like, I'd surely buy you a Cadillac. Whatever you need, any time of the day and night. I'm not ashamed to say, I hope it always will stay this way. My hat is off, won't you stand up and take a bow? And when they both get older, with walking canes and hair of gray, have no fear, even though it's hard to hear. I will stand real close and say, thank you for being a friend. Thank you. Thank you for being a friend. Thank you. Thank you for being a friend. once again. Thank you for being a Thank you for being a friend. I wanna thank you. Thank you for being a friend. I wanna thank you. Thank you for being a friend. I wanna thank you. Thank you for being a friend. People, let me tell you about a friend. I wanna thank you. Thank you for being a friend. I wanna thank you. Thank you for being a friend. I wanna thank you. Thank you for being a friend. Whoa, tell me about a friend right now. Thank you for being a friend. Thank you for being a friend. Thank you for being a friend.
There's no business like show business, like no business I know. Everything about it is appealing, everything that traffic will allow. Nowhere could you get that happy feeling when you are stealing that extra bow. There's no people like show people, they smile when they are low. Yesterday they told you you would not go far. That night you open and there you are. Next day on your dressing room they've hung a star. Let's go on with the show. The costumes, the scenery, the makeup, the props, the audience that lifts you when you're down. The headaches, the heartaches, the backaches, the flops, the sheriff who escorts you out of town, the opening when your heart beats like a drum, the closing when the customers don't come. There's no business like show business, like no business I know. You get word before the show has started that your favorite uncle died at dawn. On top of that, your pa and ma have parted. You're broken-hearted, but you go on. There's no people like show people. They smile when they are low. Even with a turkey that you know has foaled, you may be stranded out in the cold, but still you wouldn't change it for a sack of gold. Let's go on with the show. Let's go on with the Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Good night, and God bless you.
Really, I just, the only thing that, you know, on my Facebook post, on, you know, in the obituary is thank you. Thank you to all of y'all. Special, because you were special to my mom. So the fact that you're here helping us all to celebrate her means so much. And I know that she's here having a ball. I don't know if you can tell or not, but I can. You know, she mixed a lot of, you know, she had friends from everywhere. And everybody knows that. And in fact, Michael can attest to the fact that everybody that came into the studio was a potential employee or puppeteer. You know, we had an electrician came in, and he came, no, a phone guy, somebody from AT&T came in and was doing something with the phones, and he was curious about the puppets, and lo and behold, he has been one of the best employees, best puppeteers we've ever had. You know, she had that way about her of just sort of roping you in, and you were glad that she did it. You might be a little hesitant at first, but she always, for her, you would always rise to the occasion. And thank y'all so much for being here. And we forget that I am going to read part of what I wrote already that you have heard, but I feel like it's the best way that I can say it. Stop it. Where has he been? Puppeteers, I'm going to say this. To say my mom was talented, I believe, is an understatement. She was an artist who needed to create. It's the way that she excelled in the world, and she built her own world of compatriots, compadres, and co-conspirators, drawing people into her divine world of chaos and creativity, especially the chaos. Brought forth somewhere from the ether, and her imagination were creatures and creations of beauty, fantasy, and whimsy, all a reflection of the connection to some vein of consciousness that flowed through her so freely, allowing her to manifest the embodiment of that in her work. Puppeteers, writers, actors, singers, dancers, painters, costumers, sculptors, and friends, and electricians. From all walks of life, all collaborated with her to bring her creative visions to life, and we all had a blast doing it. We grew ourselves as people, as artists, and those were magical days. But most importantly, she was also a good friend to many. She was there. She showed up. And she had a way, I think you'll all agree, that brought a positive spin to our lives and our world, and we adore her for it. Her strength was connection, connecting herself with others on an authentic and meaningful level, and connecting others who may not have had a chance to know each other otherwise. Surely she will be missed by every person who ever met her, and thank you, Michelle, for this, because there's never been a woman like Angela Beasley, and there never will be again. She was a true original, and she lived every moment of her life with passion. She dedicated her life to sharing her gifts with the world, entertaining and uplifting both children and adults alike. The sparkle of the world has dulled a bit with her passing, as grief knits together the hearts of all who knew her, as we all mourn our deep loss. And I'm going to read, this is the most important part. We also know my mom wouldn't have any of this feeling sorry for ourselves, because we know she's fine, okay? She's fine. She's having a ball. She's with Roddy. She's fine. We're the ones that we feel sorry for. But there's no reason to be sad, because it's the antithesis of what she was fundamentally about. So as we celebrate her magic, let us allow it to live on inside of us with a little magic of our own, so we can then let that shine out into the world, because that is the way she would want it. So I don't know where Jeffrey went. I don't know what happened. I do want to say thank you to Jeff Hall for putting this together, and all of the people at Asbury up there, Billy, Scott West, Kim Gay. There were so many hands in making this happen, because I couldn't do it. And
the winner is.
So thank you to all of y'all.
Yeah, I'll just. How's my hair? Hello? Oh, you got to turn it on?
Oh, it wasn't on the whole time? Could y'all hear me?
Hello. 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 It's on. All right, hang on now. Hello. Hello. I'm going to use this one.
Yeah.
Can you guys hear me here? Oh. All right. When I ran out here like that, this is the puppet people.
in a nutshell. I went in the back. I had to get my water. I couldn't find water. I went out the truck, got some water, came back through, and there's Michael Dant and everybody with their puppets on, chomping at the bit to get out here. And they're going, and Jeff pulls his hood up and goes, "Where have you been? You're supposed to be out there speaking." I went, "Oh, really?" And Michael's like, "Yeah." So that's when you saw me. I came out like, didn't know you were speaking, Allison.
That's
So they
okay.
kind of,
Your turn.
anyway, I didn't really prepare anything very much, but I just wanted to thank everybody. No, I'm going to say, I wrote a little piece here sitting in the back. I just wanted to thank everybody really for coming and really thank the community and tribe of friends and close family that got us through this very difficult time. Couldn't have done it without the support, really. It was amazing. So thank you. And I just wrote a real quick thing back there. Okay. Well, the reality is my mother and father both didn't discourage me from doing whatever as far as profession goes. And I wanted to become a musician, and I became one. And then I logged almost 3,000 shows. And then I got to tour all over the United States with the puppet people. You know, I was encouraged to follow my dreams from my mother, and that's strength. And it takes strength to go into a new city and try something different, you know, but I always knew I had my parents there to catch me if I fell, you know. I'm blessed in that way. And that also gave me an advantage and allowed me to go out and really try new things. I just wanted to acknowledge at this time, too, that I am a Beasley, but I own Majoni Oyster Company because my mother was a Majoni, 100% Italian. I'm half Majoni, and I'm very proud to be related to the Majonis and the Eisenbergs, okay, and the Beasleys. They got a strong, solid, wholehearted, just good people around me, family-wise. And I really, now that my mother's gone, she was my best friend. No, I mean, every day I talk to my mom. I'm a mama's boy, they say. So, on the tit. So Roland comes into me. Roland's the guy that, Majoni Oyster Company, I'm in my 10th year. I took over when my father passed away from cancer. And my father took over from LP Majoni and Company, my grandfather. My father worked there fixing conveyor belts, and he was like the maintenance guy, but they gave him the skill set to set up what I got now, a processing facility. But, what's that? Oh, so Roland worked with him, and he works with me. And he came and sang at the dinner, at my dad's dinner that Randy Booker hosted at the golf club, and Roland sang. But he came Monday morning, he came in, he never comes into the office, and he came in there and closed the door, and he said, he sat there and was looking at me. I'm like, "What's up, man? Do I owe you something?" He's like, "You need to make sure you get along with your sister." He said that. And I was like, "Do you know how difficult that's going to be, Roland?" No, just kidding. No, just kidding. No, but Allison, you're my blood.
Oh,
you know?
that's so sweet. You're mine too, Jeff.
And we got two different lives, too busy, but I love you.
Thank you. I love that. Thank you.
But anyway, hey, thanks for coming out, and we're going to do a little parade thing around the thing. And,
we're going to, and before we start the reception, in pure Angela puppet style, we're going to invite anybody who's got some puppet bins in the back with little puppets. We'd like some people to come try on some puppets. We're going to have a parade up in here. Okay? So come on up, Dana. Come on. I've got this will go over your head.
Oh, no.
Right here.
Dana, don't do it. Get a hand puppet, Dana. I'm trying.
All right.
Hello, everybody. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Johnny Mercer. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Now, I have been asked by the puppet people, those of us puppets who are actually made by Angela, to come up here and say a few words about our friend and our creator. Now, Formica down at Washington wanted to come up here and do this, but Preacher Billy didn't think that was such a good idea. Neither did we. So here I am. Now, not one of you people, nobody in the world except Jeff and Allison, share with us the experience of being created by Angela Beasley. That's right, you're right. Now, each and every one of us puppets, from the tiniest size of a thimble up to as big as half a house, we were all made through Angela's mind and with Angela's hands. Every stitch, every nip and tuck, every poke with a hot glue gun, imbued us with a little of Angela's love, her essence, and her energy. The light that Angela's talent shone through every little boy and girl around the world, and the joy that she brought to people with her creativity and her passion. Well, that's immeasurable. Now, y'all know the saying, oh, to be a fly on the wall. Well, we've been flies on the wall for decades. We heard all them conversations. Some of them were very funny. Some of them, not so much. But all of them pretty loud, actually. We watched as Angela grew her business and glowed in its success. We watched Angela nurture and protect her family and her friends, sharing some sage advice and very smart wisdom. We also were witness to her mourning her precious Roddy, her family, and her friends, as tears fell down upon our faces as she worked. But our favorite part was watching Angela perform. Whether in or out of costume, Angela was always performing. She was one funny lady. Now, when she said she was going to retire, that surprised us a little. But like many other entertainers, Cher, Barry Manilow, them Rolling Stone boys, she never truly stopped working. Oh, she threw herself into Majoni, and she made some pots and some ceramics and did some pretty art. But she always kept us close at hand. And when anybody called and asked her for help, if it was within her power, she would take us out, spiff us up, and cart us off to wherever she was needed. But Now, she's off gallivanting with Roddy. And we're all here just to remember her and to try to carry on without her. The fact that Angela lives within us, wow, that's truly an honor. And the fact that you all are here today, that tells me that Angela has touched all you in some special way too. So do me a favor. You find whatever piece of Angela lives in you, and you claim it. You own it, you grow it, you nurture it. And then you take it outside and spread it around, just like she did. Now, for the final part of our tribute, I'm going to ask Laura Dutton to come back up here and sing us another song. It's not one of mine, but that's not funny. It ain't my song, but it still accentuates the positive. Then, as they said, we're going to have a wonderful parade with the puppets and go around this beautiful building and then go out and around and have some refreshments, share some more memories, and have something to eat and drink, because I know y'all are hungry and thirsty, because I am. Wait. All right. Angela says, say hey, and she's real glad y'all came. We'll see you after a while. Bye-bye.
When you are as old as I, my dear, and I hope that you never are, you will woefully wonder why, my dear, through your cataracts and catarrh, you may squander away or sequester the drop of a precious year. For when your best days are yester, the rest are twice as dear. What good is a field on a fine summer night if you sit all alone with the weeds? Or a succulent pear if with each juicy bite you spit out your teeth with the seeds? Before it's too late, stop trying to wait for fortune and fate you're secure of. But there's one thing to be sure of, mate. There's nothing to be sure of. Oh, it's time to start living. Time to take a little from the world we're given. Time to take time, for spring will turn to fall. In just no time at all. If you know the chorus, sing along. Until the last one, that's all mine. Now, I never wondered if I was afraid when there was a challenge to take. I never thought about how much I weighed when there was still one piece of cake. Maybe it's meant the hours I've spent feeling broken and bent and unwell. But there's still no cure so heaven sent as the chance to raise some hell. Oh, it's time to start living. Time to take a leave from the world we're given. Time to take time, for spring will turn to fall. In
throw these regal shoulders back and lift these noble chins. Give me a man who is handsome and strong, someone who's stalwart and steady. Give me a night that's romantic and long, and give me a month to get ready. Now I could waylay some aging roue and persuade him to play in some cranny, but it's hard to believe you're being led astray by a man who calls you granny. Oh, it's time to start living, time to take a little from the world we're given, time to take time, or spring will turn to fall in just no time at all. Now sages tweet that age is sweet, good deeds and good works earn you laurels, but nothing makes you feel more obsolete than being noted for your morals. Here is a secret I never have told. Maybe you'll understand why. I believe if I refuse to grow old, I can stay young till I die. Now I've known the fears of 66 years. I've had troubles and tears by the score, but the only thing I trade them for is 67 more. Just me. Oh, it's time to keep living, time to keep taking from the world I'm given. You are my time, so I'll throw off my shawl. I'm throwing it off and watching your flings be flung all over makes me feel young all over in just no time at all.
That's right, y'all. Now listen, I'd like to thank Liz Laura Dutton for that wonderful song. Mr. Roger, where are you, Roger? Oh, he's my secret crush. David Duckworth on the pianos. Everybody sound and light. And we're getting ready to have a party up in here. Everybody grab a puppet, you ready? I said, are you ready? Don't make me come down there and get you, because Miss Formica.net don't play that. Okay, grab your puppet. Well, you ready for a parade? Who's gonna lead? I guess I'll lead. Come on, let's go. R-E-S-P-E-C-T, baby. That's right, you low-down, good-for-nothing fool. Hey, girl, how y'all doing? Come on, y'all. What you been doing, Mr. Susie? Let's go. That's right, he can wear it. He looks good in red. Angela would love this, y'all. Miss Angela is here right now. Come on, let's party. Look at Carol. That's right. Come on, George. Don't make me. Oh, yeah. Come on, Indigo, baby. All right, y'all, let's eat.
Y'all leading puppets, let's have a parade all the way outside. Follow the puppets out the door. Take your puppets with them.